on day release. Demon sub tries not to crease, and Ewok's keeping nice and warm in bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile, the Candyman is opening another can. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. Sometimes they're salty about the gaming biz, and nobody knows who Upworlder is. Technical difficulties, they're really such a crime. Technical difficulties, they happen all the time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time. It's Yellowbelly Tabletop time.
Evening all! Woo! It's a scorcher! Sweaty pits. Good evening.
Has anybody melted this evening?
And if you haven't done past tense, are you doing so now? Because Jesus, it's uncomfortable here in the UK. You'll have to pardon me. I've got a dog under my hobby desk. I think Bertie wants some shade because he's too hot. So I'm going to be sitting in weird positions for this stream, but that's fine. Right, first of all, I need to get rid of David's echo. In fact, do I?
Why
No,
have I got an echo?
I'll live with it. I'll live with it because we're still working with fucking OBS not working correctly version, which is pissing me off. So, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live stream. Good to see you all. Let's do our usual and shout out the chat before we get stuck in. We've got Upworlder, that's Trevor. We've got Paul Pandy, that's Paul from Pandyman Entertainment, the purveyors of Trench Offensive, and
Threat level 0, because you can never fucking remember it, because you're a useless old man.
There's too many fucking words in that game. One word game titles, people. I'm 50. I'm over 50. Come on, give me a break.
He's got early onset Alzheimer's, boys and girls. Early onset Alzheimer's.
Fucking not that early. Right, hello to Darren Stroke Demon Sub. Hello to Spam and Egg. That's David's other half, if you're new here. Hello to Cheese Me. Hello to Damon. And hello to everybody else who might be watching along later or just lurking.
Ewok, stop lurking, because your fucking thing that Paul showed me last night from on Tabletop, dude. Fucking hell.
That wasn't Ewok.
I swear it was Ewok.
No, it wasn't. It was Damon, which is why I'm glad Damon's here.
Are you sure?
I'm 99.999% sure it's Damon. So we are, yeah, that's what I've got to do later is I want to try and show you guys some photos.
So why does it state the project blog is by Ewok Kebab?
Oh no, okay, sorry. Ignore me. I forgot I sent you that. That's the Drowned Earth one, isn't it?
Yes.
That is Ewok. No, I'm talking about something completely different. Right, I thought I'd sent you the Japanese one.
No, you hadn't.
Ah, Right. Yes, that one is by Ewok. But it's cool, isn't it? You haven't commented,
Yeah.
actually. Is that it? Just yeah?
Yeah. We'll talk about it more in a bit.
Okay.
I'm melting my testicles off, and we need to show the boys and girls what I'm working on before my paint dries.
So over the
Jesus.
next couple of hours, we're going to follow our normal format of chaotic bollocks. The first thing David and I are going to do is discuss what we're going to be hobbying on while we stream tonight. Then we will tell you what we got up to at club on Monday. And then we've got some newsy bitsy pieces to cover.
We've got some fucking really hot news, boys and girls. Literally at this point, an hour and a half old, but more on that in a bit.
And I'm sure David's going to talk at length about
that.
Definitely. And then about 9 o'clock probably-ish, we'll talk about our theme for this evening, which is custom dice with silly little pictures on.
Who fucking thought that was probably a good idea?
Yeah. Obviously, I tell you what, you've got an hour to think about it, guys. When we get on to the main topic, what we want is people's shouts for games that either do the custom dice thing really well, or games that do the custom dice thing and it's fucking atrocious and a pain in the ass. So, yeah, if you can think about that, that'll be awesome. Right, okay, mate. Do you want to go first with the what are you working on then?
Yeah, let's come down to the fucking 3D printing sweatshop. Come on.
I need to go into studio mode because this doesn't work otherwise, does it? And then I need to go that, and then I need to go that, and I need to do that.
Right, boys and girls.
You should be live. You should be live on the internet.
We're 1/4 of the way through doing the roof for the Red Rocket. For Fallout Wasteland Warfare, I've been a heathen and I split it this way because I can't be asked to spend a lot of money on plastic that I'm just going to throw in the bin to support all this fucker. So that's what I've been doing, hobbying outside of club this week and got all of that shit done. I'm still waiting on an answer from War Cradle. They've said that they're sorting it for me, but I've seen sight nor shit of anything. And then tonight we're mainly going to be working on Frostgrave Warbands because
thumbs up, cheese
starts on Monday, and we've got to get as many of these fuckers painted to this speed painted level as possible.
Okay, well, geez, to be fair, the way your productivity's been going, mate, I think you've got a good chance of getting some serious fucking work
So
done.
we're cutting all of the corners and using contrasts where appropriate.
It's looking great. No, to be fair, Cheesemy, I don't think there's much for us to get salty about. I was thinking it's been, all in all, it's been a really great week for hobby.
There is a tiny amount of salt related to the news and the hottest off the press news. That's just because it's me. Yes, because this is now the third game that I've gone to get into as the editions change.
I did think that. Because what were the other two? Malifaux and...
No, there's three then. Bolt Action, second edition, sat on the shelf doing fuck all.
Yeah.
Malifaux, I want to get into it. Oh, we're going to fourth now. And Bloodfields, because I was at Expo and they touted third edition coming, haven't they? When I haven't even done edition 1 or 2.
That's right. I'm
not salty, you're salty. But look what turned up today, boys and girls. Modifius have got a moving warehouse sale for the US of the A.
That's a good point. You should share this because if you guys are into your Fallout, there are some insane deals going on at the minute, aren't there, mate?
50% off stuff. It's only certain lines, but like these new Clerks were half price. This was half price. The two new starter warbands we got were half price. This Into the Wasteland book was cheap as well. And then we have some bloat flies, boys and girls.
You can show off my 2 boxes if you've got them there.
No, I can't because they're downstairs.
Oh, okay. Because David, obviously, I said to David, fucking Spam's comment. I swear Paul will get his ring before me. Spam, I'm just going to say, can you not make comments like that? The Brokeback Expo meme does get a little bit overused, and that is essentially an entire fucking thing of petrol on that fire. Just saying. Right,
I
okay.
can show off your 2 boxes, can I, Pandy? What boxes have I got you? Didn't realise I was hobbying for every fucker.
Yes, you're shilling for every whore. Right, let's do this because we want to put my camera on before my mobile dies completely. We're back on the main screen. We need to go click. We need to go clickety
Can I move shit? Yes, I can. Right, downside to the temperature in the UK right now. I've had cork brown on my palette for 9 minutes and it's dry. And it's a wet palette.
Right, okay,
Yeah,
let's
this
have.
This is not going to go well tonight, is it? Let's be brutally honest.
Yeah, to be fair, guys, obviously the weather is a bit fucking much, so we'll see how we go. Hopefully, we'll make the distance. Brokeback Expo is like Christmas; it's only once a year. Right, okay. What am I working on tonight? Well, I'm not working on these, but I'm going to show them anyway. Hello, phone. Why is that a still
Somebody's
image?
been building some Rubicon, haven't they?
Yes. Why is this a still image? I don't want a still image. I want a moving fucking image.
Well, that might have something to do with the fact that your phone's just gone, nah, I'm not working. It's 30 degrees.
Actually,
off,
to be fair, here we go. We're back, Judder Jerk. To be fair, my phone is actually overheating. So we better get on quick. So yes, these are my US Marine LVTs, landing vehicle tracked, for the World War II project that I'm doing, which is the Ireland campaign from for Bolt Action. I bought all these at UKGE. So we have the Amtrac. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, because I probably am. I'm shit at all this terminology. So this is the one with the 75mm howitzer, I believe. And this is based on the LVT2 armoured chassis. What I didn't have, there is an actual almost perfect match for the US Marine Ocean Grey in the Vallejo Model Air range. I didn't have that. Thanks, Cheese Me. I didn't have that, so I did a little bit of a colour research thing, and I've used intermediate blue with a touch of blue-grey pale from the model colour range, just for some highlights, airbrush highlights. It's a little bit lighter than where I want it, but obviously the washes and that will knock it back a step visually. This one I'm also intending to do like a dark sand camouflage pattern, so it's going to be two-tone, which was something that they introduced in the later part of the island campaign. So not at Saipan, but the later islands, I think Peleliu. Yeah, however you pronounce it. They started adding camo to these because they found that once they got off the beaches, they got knackered. So they put a basic camouflage pattern on. So this one's going to get the camo treatment. This is the LVT 1A chassis. So this was the first variant with the open cockpit, the troop carrying version. Again, this is painted just to match as closely as I could the standard US Navy ocean blue or ocean grey, whatever colour, whatever the terminology is. So that one, basically this one should just a case of painting the machine guns black. They've got gaffs here for obviously fending when they're lowering them into the water. So there's some detail painting to be done here with metallics and some brown wood. But the rest of it,
Chipping, streaking.
yeah, obviously all the weathering steps are going to come after, and obviously the tracks need painting in like a grey, dark grey metallic. And then the last one of the ones I bought from Rubicon. So I bought each one of Rubicon does 3 separate kits, and I bought one of each because they were only like 18 quid each, I think, at UKGE, which I thought was really reasonable. This is the Water Buffalo LVT4. So this was basically the design. This was sort of the culmination of the design at the end of World War II. This was sort of where they got to with the assault ramp access at the back, the larger crew area for obviously for the soldiers they were deploying. And this one again towards the end of the island campaign, they'd started to paint everything in US Marine Corps olive drab. This is brown violet in the model color range, which is basically, from what I've seen on the internet, virtually a 100% match. And again, just to add some airbrush highlights, I just mixed a touch of khaki with the base color and just did some very gentle, it's barely visible, but I did some top panel highlighting just to give the vehicle a gradation.
You did some colour modulation.
Top to bottom. That's it. That's the word. So I'm not going to be working on those, but I thought I'd show them off because I'm really enjoying my bolt action at the moment. So the main thing that I'm going to be working on tonight is this, because it's a really good, easy job for stream. These are location connectors that David 3D, hiya Shakos, that David 3D printed for me for ages ago for the Arkham Horror Living card game. So these are, because obviously in the game you have location cards that have routes that you can travel between them, and that's what these represent. You can do it by following the symbols on the cards, but it gets a bit confusing. So this is like an add-on, a post-market add-on that a lot of people use for the game. Simple resin 3D prints. I gave them a basic prime of the, I think it's Hyrax Brown, the Colourforge primer. And then it's literally, I'm just going to get a brush and highlight these details with model colour old gold before slapping a heavy wash on it, just to protect everything and give a bit of shading. So there, I have got an absolute lorry load of these to do. So I'm sure this is going to keep me busy for the entire stream. If I do get them all done, then I also have this to finish. So we're preparing our play of the Wildwoods Frostgrave campaign. First scenario, evening JJ. The first scenario involves petrified men as one of the monsters that everybody's got to fight. So I've done these, I've primed them, we've done Vallejo model colour, stone grey base colour. They've got like loincloths that I'm probably going to pick out in some sort of reddy colour. And then they've got like these encrusted lumps on their skin, which I thought I'd probably try and paint in a different colour just for interest. So I don't really know. Suggestions in the chat. Should I paint them as lighter than the background colour? Obviously this is quite pale, but it's going to get washed within an inch of its life, because these things they're essentially supposed to be zombies that are encrusted almost with limestone, like stalagmites would form around a zombie. I think that's the general idea. So, or do I paint?
Yes, you do, Shakos. If you were here on time, you'd have known that Paul was just showing them off.
Or do I paint them darker? I don't know. Fuck off.
Santa!
We're not doing Not. I tell you what, I will do the loincloths bright red. Actually, they are swamp creatures. Maybe I could do the lumps green and make them moss.
Oh, fucking hell. Don't encourage them.
Do you know what? It could just work.
It could also look like a shit show like the last time you tried to paint Santa.
Yeah, it could. So, there you go. That's what I'm going to be working on tonight. Let's go back to the main scene. Da-da-da! And let's
So at least this time you won't be packing your fisting marigolds.
No. What blue pills? What the fuck? Where did
Right.
hot pink?
I don't know.
Hot pink? No, abso-fucking-lutely not. I'm not painting them hot pink, primarily because I don't have any hot pink paint. Because I'm not an idiot.
Meanwhile, I have like 4 different shades of hot pink.
Oh my god. Where's all the zombies who got caught in the shower? Right, okay. So there you go. That's what we're working on tonight. If you are working on anything yourselves, then please put it in the chat below. I'm just going to stop this mobile now. And hopefully it won't blow
Before
up.
it cooks to death.
Yeah. We'll just leave that over there. Yeah, you'll have to do the watch again if you want to see the details of the LVT's Shakos. I tell you what I will do. I'll show these off. This is a long shot. The other thing that I have done is my landing craft. So here we've got a basic Higgins boat for, again, landings on the island campaign. Again, this is a really simple, I can't even remember what grey I used on this. I think it was probably neutral grey, something like that. And then a bit of sky grey panel highlighting again. That's just ready for basically, again, machine guns got to be painted and then weather the absolute living hell out of it. And then we've got the, I think this one's the LCM landing craft mechanized. They've all got their own little flipping
Abbreviations
tags
and names.
and it all gets very confusing, even for geeky bastards like me.
Shakos, is it Russian? No. Therefore, use Russian uniform. Never a fucking truer word spoken though, Shakos. Right, let's nick some of Sam's paint, shall we? Let's see how
there you go.
TT Combat Reds cover, shall we? Let's see how this goes.
I need to get rid of all this crap that is now all over my hobby desk so I can actually do some work. Right.
What's this work you speak of? It's too fucking hot for work. Drinking beer sounds like a fucking good idea.
It does, doesn't it? Right, let's go to here. I need to click on that. I need to click on that.
Remember, people in the UK, remain hydrated, drink beer.
Yeah. Oh dear. Here we go. What do we do on Monday night?
Wow, this red covers nicely.
What is it?
Jesus, TT. Red, deep cherry red.
Is it?
From TT Combat. Fucking hell, does it cover nicely.
Just quick feedback. I have used one of my AK Intense. I'm not super blown away. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a nice red. It's a very bright red. I would say it's roughly equivalent to the model colour Vermilion in shade, maybe a bit more orange, than rather than red. But it's not a million miles above. I tell you what is good: the actual cap and the nozzle arrangement is way better than the original model colours. The model colour repacks have got a much better cap and nipple FWRP assembly. It's much more robust. People who have used model, well, a lot of the Vallejo
Are you on
paints,
about the black caps with the clear bodies?
Yeah, that's right. the nipple is really broad and thick. So like a lot of my
Who are
old
matron?
model color paints, the nipple is really narrow. You can probably just see if I hold that there. And not only that,
Do you suffer from crusty nipple?
well, they split. The fucking things split. It's ridiculous. They're such a thin plastic. They just tear down the side.
Again, I've had 3 lids fail, and I've had to bodge them back together with super glue and cardboard.
Yeah,
so
black rubber does get a good write-up, Shakos. I've heard that spoken well of. Yeah, sorry, mate. What were you saying?
I've had to repair lids on my Valeos.
Yeah. As I say, that the improvements in the model color range. I love the fact. I love the fact that plastic is transparent as well. The old model color and game color paints had a milky white, sort of semi-transparent plastic bottle, which didn't give you a representative view of the color. The new ones are true transparent, which is great. The only thing that's a bit of a problem is, although you can now see what the paint looks like wet, they still have the issue that they don't look that colour when they're dry. So I would still recommend...
And you now don't have a white cap to paint on, it's black.
Correct. Which now means you're going to have to underpaint white so that the colour looks right. So I would still recommend people paint their caps on the model colour range, because it's not true of all of them, but the tone and colour change when they dry is marked. Very much so. So yeah, we played. Well, I played Bolt Action on Monday. So because I can't get enough of Bolt Action at the moment, Ricky and I played our second game of the Stalingrad campaign. I played, so as you look, this is the beginning of the game. In this scenario, you have a relatively wide river running up the center of the table. It's only a 4x4 play area. The Germans have double the points of the Russians, who are dug in on the left there, behind those hills.
On the right, you blind fuck.
Oh, on the right, sorry. You keep correcting me, that's your job. And the Germans have to cross the river in those boats that you have to purchase as part of your army list. Tracked vehicles, because the river is treated as an obstacle, anything that can cross an obstacle gets a pass. So tracked and half-tracked vehicles could go across. So I bought a Panther 4 and an SDK because they could make their own way across the river.
Making my way downtown.
The actual rules for deployment say that the river goes up the centre of the table and it should be a minimum of 7 inches wide. The Germans start in the tree line up to 3 inches from the river.
Back from it, yeah.
And the Russians start 3 inches from the other bank of the river, or more. But you could potentially start this game with the miniatures and the armies only fucking 13 inches apart. I thought, when I read the scenario and we started setting up the table, that this would be a shit scenario, because I thought, what is the point of having everybody in everybody's face? But
yeah,
Ricky luckily has more of a brain than I do, so he pulled everything back and had good cover in the hills. All of his units started dug in and hidden. So that meant that essentially they'd got a 2+ armor save against everything I shot at them. And they were halving all fucking hits from HE weapons, and they were
Tell the boys and
completely resilient.
Tell the boys and girls about how Ricky's mortar performed on one of your boats and the crew that disembarked.
So
Or didn't disembark.
well, yeah, they got off the boat because he sunk it, and they had to basically swim for shore. This was basically what I did was I took a photo at sort of the end of each of the turns. So as you can see, the Germans very rapidly started crossing the river. The Russians, I couldn't really do any casualties at all on the Russians, and because they were dug in, they were just so resistant to damage, it was a waste of time. So instead of actually attacking anything, I literally just piled across the river and tried to survive. The boats were really easy for the Russians to kill, and what the rules said were anything that wasn't an infantry unit was basically destroyed if the boat under it went. So machine gun teams, artillery pieces, mortars, everything was lost. Yes, right at the beginning of Stalingrad, Ewok. It's mission 2 of the Stalingrad campaign book. Infantry, if the boat was taken out from under them, they took D6 automatic hits, and then you had to place what was left of the unit on the closest bank. So if he shot the boat out from under me while I was on my own bank, I basically took hits and then went back on the bank. It was, to cut very long story short, the scenario worked so well, I was really shocked. We didn't overrun the Russians like you would suspect. The Russians did a great job of shooting the boats out and then pinning my guys. This unit that you can see in the top left, they got their boat shot out from under them. The survivors swam to shore, and then basically his mortar team just completely pinned them on this bank until they were blown to pieces. It was a really good game. Don't get me wrong, in the end, by the end of turn 5 or 6, it was because it's only a maximum of a 7-turn scenario. The Germans had convincingly won. Everything Russian was dead. I'd lost about a third of my units and most of my transport boats, but because I was the only person really with troops left on the eastern bank, I won the scenario by default. But do you know what? This is the joy of bolt action as a campaign play. It's not about the end result. It's about the process of getting there. I mean, Ricky said when the battle started, he was like, "How the fuck am I going to kill all these Germans?" And I don't think it was winnable for the Russians. I mean, if they'd have got super lucky and literally got rid of all my boats. I'll tell you one thing that made a huge difference, actually, and I will say this. In the scenario, it says the German player can choose to have a preparatory bombardment. But if he does, the Russian player can then put an ambush order on any of their units in play. And I thought about it with Rich, who was helping me play the Germans. And I thought, everything's dug in. He's going to be taking half hits from any successful hits, which are only a 1 in 6 chance or something like that of actually hitting him on a preparatory bombardment. So if I'm lucky, I might kill a couple of Russian models and put a couple of pin markers down. But the downside is that everything with a rifle will be able to ambush fire on my boats as soon as they move. And I took the decision that it wasn't worth doing the preparatory bombardment just to avoid losing the boats quick. And I think that was definitely the smart play. If I'd have gone for the bombardment, I would have absolutely shafted myself. Yes, Shakos, obviously, although the campaign books are written for 2, we use bolt action 3rd edition rules as much as possible. We're not...
You're even using 3 for the points, aren't you? For
Well,
building, list building.
I mean, for 90% of the points and list building, we're using everything out of the bolt action 3 books that have been released. So the German book, the rule book. Some of the stuff like the points cost for the boats are in the campaign book. So we're not worrying about that sort of shit. We're not worrying about, are the boats undercosted in the book or are the boats overcosted in the book. We're not fucking worrying about that sort of stuff. We're just basically spitballing it.
You're playing the game for the fun of playing the game.
And as I say, so obviously the rules, the way that hidden deployment and dug in worked in the old edition of bolt action were very different because they modified your hit values and all that shit. We didn't do that. We used the 3rd edition armor saves rules, and it works really well. No, do you know what, Cheese Me? That is an absolutely brilliant thought. I should have taken a couple of light howitzers or artillery pieces, just cheap shit, stuck them on the back hills and put smoke markers down. That would have been a very intelligent thing to do. And actually, I will try and remember to share that with Ricky, because we're already talking about, when we finish this campaign, switching armies and playing through the whole thing again. And we're only on mission 2. We are enjoying this so fucking much. It was just brilliant. It was absolutely great. It had some fantastic cinematic moments, like David was saying, with my unit getting pinned on the shore and blown apart. The tank exchanges. The only thing I will say, I'm going to have a mini salt rant here.
Get the shaker!
I still don't like tanks in bolt action. I still don't see why you would bother. Basically, his T-34 and my Panther chased each other around for a couple of turns, trying to kill one another, and that was all that those are. Basically, if neither of us had brought the fucking tanks and brought a couple more infantry units instead, there would have been more interaction with the models and the armies. The tanks just play their fucking mini game, and it's like, yeah, don't worry about it, Shakos. I don't know. Don't ask me. Don't know. As I say, I don't like armor in bolt action, and I know I'll be honest. And we're not playing list building as per 3rd edition. We're using the fucking, what do you call them? The theatre selectors from the actual campaign book. So they still allow you to take one of a tank in any platoon list. Armour in the random movement game is crap as well. Yeah. I mean, Ricky and I basically said to each other, for the next, unless there's something about the scenario that specifically says, if you don't bring armour, the scenario loses some of its flavour, then if there's not an overriding reason why we have to do it in the scenario, we're not really going to bother with them anymore. We're going to try literally only if we have to bring them, either because the scenario won't let us not, or they are needed to pad points. the rest of it, we're going to try and play these scenarios with just weapon teams and infantry and light armored cars and that sort of shit. Because I just don't get it. Don't get me wrong. It was fun chasing his T-34 round between those hills and trying to get a shot off, but it just felt like we were playing a mini game with the tanks while everything else was going on, and it just seemed stupid. But anyway, mini salt rant over. What's the last one? There's the last shot that I had. So that was pretty much at the point when there was nothing left but Germans. I mean, a good example of where you've got a scenario where you probably would have to have armor. So, like, in the landings at Saipan, the Japanese counterattack was famously very armor heavy. So there was actually quite
but is this armor heavy for Japan?
Well, as in, the Japanese did have a relatively large contingent of tanks on the island, and the general, I forget his name, threw them all into pushing the Americans off the beach after the first day. So in the night, during the night of the first day, the Japanese counterattacked with like tank riders, and it was basically a very heavily tank-led offensive. It was a fucking disaster because the Japanese they hadn't worked out how to use infantry to support tanks properly, and basically the Americans' bazooka teams basically just creamed the tanks as they came out of the dark. I think like I was watching a documentary and they were said like bazooka teams were notching up 4 or 5 armor kills within minutes. They were literally just popping them like balloons. But that was the reason I mention it is,
hey Rich,
I think that scenario probably would lose some of its flavour if you didn't, as the Japanese, run tanks.
Bring them.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you mean, dude.
But I said, unless there's an overriding reason, I think we're going to lean away from armour in bolt action. It's just not the rule system for it. And I don't think 3rd edition has changed that at all for me. In fact, I think 3rd edition is worse in a way, because now you have to take an entire armoured platoon with a command vehicle and a second vehicle, and it's like, no, it's too much. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Luckily, when they landed at Saipan, they had a fucking ton of bazookas. So yeah, it didn't go well for the Japanese.
They packed their bazookas.
But yeah, that's what I got up to at club. So what about you, mate? What did you get up to?
I'm just going to very quickly roll through mine because otherwise we're going to be late. I taught Luke Space Station Zero.
I didn't realise that, cheese me. I didn't realise you could still add armour to standard infantry platoons. I've learned something new, mate. I will have a look at that again because I've obviously missed that. Carry on.
Luke's first game of Space Station Zero, took him through the list building, played 3 games. Unfortunately, we suffered from the fucking usual for the intro scenario every time I've demoed this with anyone other than Ricky, that we just roll bullshit. And it's you interacting with the environment for the first game, not actually killing shit or anything like that. Game 2 was quite good, and game 3 equally as good.
Yeah, and
he's getting into it. He wants to play some more, go through some more. I don't mind it. It's a bit very beer and pretzels game. You don't really have to think or engage brain cells.
Yeah.
The only thing, totally get what Darren's saying, just fucking pick up dice and huck them. Biggest drawback for me, full stop, verbatim, ever. Why the fuck was there an odds and evens mechanic with target numbers that are like on the fucking even numbers to adjust it, etc.
And all the odd numbers are
fucking,
fails.
yeah, all the odd numbers fails. Why don't you just say, oh, it's a fucking 8+ or a 9+? Do you know what I mean? It's fucking a better way of doing it. There are better ways to do a odds and even system. Watch this space, boys and girls, when we get rounds to fixing that fuck up.
And to be fair, if you're watching this later and you are like you did game design at a degree level, you have an awesome grasp of probability theory and maths, in the comment section, explain to me why the dice mechanic is the way it is in Space Weirdo, Space Station Zero, because I don't get it. I do not get why.
It's a nice little solo game. Plays on a kill team board size. Gives you something to use your sci-fi models for. It's all right. It's playable. Do you know what I mean? Would I physically pick to go and play it? Probably not. Would I play better solo games? Anybody heard of this one? Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've tried it. I didn't enjoy it as a gaming experience because, like David's just alluded to, we rolled the scenario randomly, and basically what it meant was every time I activate a model, I make a test that I'm likely to fail against the environment because my stats are shit, and that's it. That's all I do. And it was like, yeah, I think the sort of like the whole sort of random scenario design thing, it shouldn't.
I mean, again,
this is part of playtesting, isn't it? You sort of like playtest something, and then you're like, actually, there's no point in the player doing anything. Their best bet is to, when their activations come, hide in cover and say, I'm not doing anything. You'll go. So like
the pick your own adventure style is quite nice to it, with the diverging narrative and everything else, but that's about it. Right, Paul, news intro, because I need to go on like a fucking 20-minute passion rant about things that I've seen this week.
It's the part of the show that we have come to know as the latest salty blizzard of nerdy sorrow. More news than you can shake the salt at. More news than you can shake the salt at.
Right, here we go. So let's start. Let's break them in gently. So this is Hard War. We talked about it, played it at UKGE, just the introduction rules. So this is Kickstarter coming soon. We just thought I'd show you the Kickstarter page. This is Modifius, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, the other thing I want to shout out about this, if you go to Modifius's website right now, you can download the beta rules right now.
Yep.
And play them. I may have already done that accidentally. They just slipped right into my basket. I don't know what happened.
The property has been purchased from another company. I forget them, some Polish guys, I think. But yeah. So this is looking good. Look at the scenery, mate. The fucking scenery.
So this is the one game that's possibly going to make me break this year.
Yeah,
it's the dice mechanic is fucking beautiful.
I love the miniatures.
Models are fucking amazing.
Yep.
The terrain's a really cool idea as well. We've had this discussion. Apparently, it still does. I don't know who made the rules, but I am looking for a charity sponsor come sugar daddy to buy me shit.
I don't know if I'm backing it or not. I might. Do you know what? I want to play some Epic Warpath.
The
Before I
problem is you're not
decide.
going to get Epic Warpath before you get this.
Well, that's the problem. Okay. I don't know. I might back this because I did enjoy the rules a lot. The D12 mechanic is very clean.
Give spam her ring and I might be forgiven. No, I've already been told if I give spam a ring, I'm still breaking promises. So I can't even use that as a loophole, boys and girls.
I apologise.
Rich, we don't know how much it is at the moment. More the point being, if you like our style of games and games that we've rated highly before, it's free at the moment on Modiphius's website. Go download the rules. Go have a look at it.
Evening, Taros.
Because again, even just looking at it, you'll know whether it's for you or not.
Yeah, and like I say, you can just try for free. Just go and download the beta rules, mate. Just get some empty 40k bases that are 30mm, 40mm, push them around the table. You know, put a sticker on it. This is a tank. This is a walker, whatever.
Excuse me, just hit the nail on the head. If you've got BattleTech, you've already got an army.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, again, the potential for using other model ranges in this is huge. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, mate, in the full version of the rules, there's a unit designer.
There's full rules. There's unit designer, and there's also, here's a list of every fucking tank, mech, and everything going for it. Find something that kind of fits.
Yeah. I'm afraid it still counts, mate. All of the loopholes have been closed. They're closed firmer than my sphincter at Brokeback Expo, I'm afraid.
Or, Ewok, for the low price of I've already spent the money, I could print Full Spectrum Dominance and play this.
That's true. That's very true. So, yeah, looking forward to Hard War. This was another one you sent me. Epic Engagements.
There's so much this week. So, rolling around on this fucking 6mm sci-fi shit. Epic Engagements Volume 1 Sci-Fi Bunkers and Craters and Roads. Very, very beautiful 3D printed terrain to make full tables. Isn't overly expensive. The biggest downside is the fact
hex.
that it's all hex-based.
Yeah.
Because obviously, it's made for BattleTech. The main reason I pointed this out to Paul is the guy also has a downloadable PC and Mac program that you can program and build your tables in 3D before you even print a single hex.
That's quite
so
a
you
good
can
tool.
build your entire table, or again, build a couple of tables using a core intrinsic layout of stuff, and then add some fillers bits here and there, and know exactly what you want to print, and know exactly how much filament, time, and everything else it's going to take you.
I do like the idea of the tree inserts on the forest.
The tree
hexes.
inserts are quite cool as well, because again, you can just pull them out, similarly to what we do for
again
playing that.
Yeah.
The edge pieces, again, is a really nice touch.
I mean, if you're leaning into the hex-based thing, it's a very complete and good system. And like you say, that app where you can plan everything before you even get your printer started is a great idea.
Again, it's a shame it's not done more commonly, because again,
I love the elevations and the contours as well. It looks like you can get some really interesting, you know, because I mean, we talked.
Oh, fucking hell! We did the Beetlejuice thing, because look who just arrived.
Hello, Tim.
Hey,
So,
mate,
BattleTech. Oh yeah, fucking excellent.
It does look really nice. The only counter to this is how much time and effort is it going to take to do a full table, and also how configurable is it? How's it clipping together? And as Cheese Me and Shackles have just said, BattleTech bases on slopes, how stable are they?
Yeah, I guess.
Night,
I mean, yeah, night, Darren. see our previous fucking stream on the difficulties of getting hill terrain, elevation terrain, either positive or negative, that works well and isn't that and looks good as well. Still, it's an interesting Kickstarter if you're into the ones and zeros shit, because this is all it is, mate. It's just STLs, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just ones and zeros.
Yeah, so it's David's usual thing, but he was on a bit of a run, weren't you? So what do we have next?
I may have
Oh,
spent
no.
35 minutes last night scrolling through Kickstarter, because what's next on the list, Paul?
Stoneheim.
Oh, so this is some really beautiful elven FDM scenery that I could see working, particularly the ruined versions in Frostgrave. Really beautiful sculpts here. Very stylized. Really nice.
I tell you
not
what,
a bad price. Just
I tell
wanted
you
to
what,
shout it out.
some of these buildings would not look that out of place in Carnivale. With their...
Do you know the other game that you said you wanted to play a bit of and you haven't got any fucking terrain for? I'm just gonna cover my mouth here while I say this.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Yeah. The ruins as well would work really well for Lord of the Rings.
That's what I mean, dude.
How expensive is this ones and zeros then?
Well, go have a look at how expensive this ones and zeros is, because I don't have my phone in front of me right now. I don't think it was terrible
where
you get. It'll be
in the rewards.
Just hit the back this project button, or
hit the back this project. Okay, he can tell he spends far much more time. All in €27. Okay.
Yeah.
These, oh my fucking god. These are so cheap, mate. These
I know.
I can see how you struggle to resist and end up with gigabytes of fucking STLs, because some of them are crazy cheap. Yeah, I have cheesed me, and to be fair, I'm starting to get sucked into these bloody Kickstarters as well, because funnily enough, here we go. Tales from Nippon, 3D printable terrain props and minis.
This is one I just sent you. Like, Paul's got a TT combat table coming at some point soon that you got at Expo, haven't you?
Yeah, the MDF Japanese stuff from TT, which is very good.
Shakos hits the nail on the head here. I can spend as much fucking money as I want this year on Kickstarter, so long as it's not a new game.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, there are nipples in this Kickstarter, Cheese Me, because there are unfortunately some NSFW samurai ladies, but the dojo looks really cool. But the main reason I pointed this one out to Paul is actually they've got all of like the mats, the seat in the
tatami
tables
mats,
for his
interiors.
Yeah,
I was just stopped on that image. These interior furniture pieces look fucking cool. And would be great. Look at it. These would be fucking great for detailing the Oh, this is the NSFW stuff. Okay, right, yeah, very good. Not really too bothered about these. Okay, this got crazy quickly. What the fuck? Yeah, this is what we want. Look at this fucker.
Nipples on girls.
I have enough trouble with nipples on me paint pots, let alone nipples on girls. And then you go to back this project, and it's like,
it's next to fuck all again, okay. Isn't it?
Yeah, fucking. I mean, look at it. The fucking merchant lifetime is €35. Crazy. How the hell do they make this pay? It's so cheap. I am all certainly going to back this, just for these. I mean, Jesus Christ, €20 for the STLs for all the furnitures.
Are we going to another Kickstarter that I teased you last night? Because this is possibly one I'm backing, boys and girls, if Paul's got it queued up.
This is the one you're not backing. This is.
That's the one you're backing.
So this, obviously, we talked about this in our UK Games Expo video. It's live stream. Go and check it out. I am again 40. This is 45 quid for the base game. You get all of that stuff there. So you get a few miniatures. You get a great little Lara Croft based board game. Solo play, unfortunately. There is no multiplayer option. So this is very much a solo play experience, and that's the only downside. To be fair, I am toying with the idea of going for the all-in pledge, because you do get some nice extra miniatures and a game mat.
The thing is, the base pledge is 45, the extra dinos are 20, the extra legendary bosses are 20. What was the other thing that was you said about getting?
So you get the dinosaur enemies, which are good, just good generic dinosaurs. You get the legendary bosses, which are like these weird, massive monster models.
You get some extra dice, don't you?
That's it.
And
you get deluxe dice and a map of the island, whereas the original contains like a little miniature card version of the map of the island. This has got that artwork blown up large, so you can set all of the game pieces out on it. It's a bit of a gimmick.
75 by 75, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you work it out, if you went base pledge plus dinos plus dice plus
because the dinos. Well, I'll be honest, mate.
The villains, it's like 95 quid versus the 115 to have also that mat and an extra Dulux storage box to store it all in.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's exactly, because the dinosaur enemies and the legendary bosses are actual playable content, so they've got scenarios that you can play, and that's why I normally, when I back these sort of Kickstarters, I ignore the gimmicky shit and just go for the stuff that gives me more game.
But there's not that much of a step up between the game versus the legendary. To just get that mat. It's like for
the extra 20 quid. Do you know what? Fuck it, give me everything.
I do hope, however, Ewok, rather than supplying you with wet wipes or an extra large box of wet wipes, as Cheeseme has just discussed, that everything is wiped clean and fully washable.
The only other drawback is I haven't got long to make my fucking mind up. So
you got 6 days.
That's the problem with this fucker, is the Kickstarter is not running for very long. But
it has been running for like the past 19 days, because it was on Kickstarter at Expo. It's just that you pushed it to the back of your mind and forgot about it, and then I was doom scrolling and went, "Oh, do you remember this?"
Right. Now then, what the hell's this? We've somehow scrolled to the... Oh, this is the one that you run about. So, the Indomitable City... Yeah. I tell you what, this takes the award so far for the most unreadable font I've seen yet this year. This is definitely number one. We'll see if we can sort of like top it. But that's a pretty good contender for complete garbage there.
We need to do an awards ceremony at the end of the year. Just saying.
Yeah, but only for that's it. We can do the Salt Awards, where it's just basically negative awards. We can do awards for shitty customer service. Shittiest.
Looking at you, War Cradle.
Shittiest dice mechanic. Shittiest miniature range.
It's like the Tonys, isn't it? It's the shit Oscars. So, Indomitable City, boys and girls.
Dear.
I feel bad about wanting to back this. The base core pledge is £8.
Yeah, I was going to...
£8.
Just in case you misheard, what was it? All in, full thing, $8. It's not even pounds. £6. Six of your Earth pounds all in.
And I said to Paul, I think this is going to be the first pledge I back that I will be backing at a merchant tier, because I feel bad just giving him £6 for this. It's some really nice cyberpunk, futuristic ramen bars, Japanese style hotels, death lasery thing, and some compound walling. It looks really, really good.
It's just
Really,
such an
really
insane,
sensibly priced. And again, the fucking level of detail on this.
I know.
For fucking 6 of your great British pounds.
Basically, it's a pound a building.
Mental.
A pound a building, and then you're getting all this shit for free. And even this shit's actually quite good.
Yeah.
I mean, these sort of walling and fencing compound things are actually pretty good. I'd probably buy them as well. It's such a good. This is the digital Kickstarters are getting a bit nuts. I will say. Yeah, it would be good. Oh, Ewok, I don't know if you were in earlier, but I spotted your Drowned Earth project and sent it to David, because we've been thinking a lot about Drowned Earth, and we bought some stuff at UKGE that we want to play more of it. Very good project, sir. Really love those buildings that you've printed.
Yeah, it's just diabolical.
Fucking excellent.
Dude? It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, they were brilliant. I think you actually said where the STLs come from as well. So David and I are almost certainly going to be nicking all of your ideas, because it looked fucking amazing.
My 3D printer is going brr this year. It's literally been running now flat out for 3 weeks doing my fucking Red Rocket, and it will then be going into bolt action terrain, and then after that probably this Indomitable City and some other shit.
So I mean, it's so far, I think where people are probably guessing that I've been corrupted by the ones and zeros demon, because basically that entire fucking news feed was digital fucking Kickstarters. So just to warn everybody, if you were thinking about getting a 3D printer and you've managed to resist, keep resisting, because otherwise it will take over your fucking life.
Counterpoint, Paul, hear me out on this counterpoint.
Yeah.
You didn't find any of those.
No, that's
true. That was me doom scrolling.
I know.
So what you mean is, get yourself a 3D printer. Don't get yourself a David.
Well, I'll be honest, I've already been buying my own fucking 3D print files. Bloody thing. Right, shall we talk to some people about Fallout?
Yes, we need to.
So,
because oh my fucking god, Modifius this afternoon.
In fact, let's talk about the Twitch. Did anybody see Modifius's Twitch stream this afternoon? Just a shout out in the chat.
About 7 odd. We're talking about Fallout Wasteland Warfare, the new stuff that's coming for Wave 11. They were talking about Fallout Factions and the errata and stuff that it's receiving, and then number 3 on their list was a little secret thing that I'm going to fucking rave about in a minute. Firstly, Wave 11 is coming to Far Harbor. They are releasing new Children of Atom models, new Raider models, new Survivor models, and some new Institute models. Oh my God, they all look good. And then just to top this off, Paul, if you just scroll through the the screenies at the top of the Reddit post I sent you.
The Reddit.
The Reddit.
Scroll through the screens. Oh, I see, like the gallery. Okay. So we've got the Priesthood Richter.
Yeah, so there's 3 boxes coming for Children of Atom.
Priesthood Teal.
3 boxes coming for Raiders. 2
Ooh.
boxes.
Institute Acadia Renegades.
Yeah, they're really nice, dude. They're really nice. Night Pandy. That's all the Institute are getting. The survivors are as renders. We get some like harbor guys and fishermen and stuff, and
Raider
all good
Trappers.
Stuff. Yeah. Then we come to the creatures.
Yeah.
We're getting gulpers. We're getting anglerfish. And we're getting possibly the best miniature in the Fallout Wasteland Warfare lineup to date. The hermit crab inside a van.
That is pretty cool.
Fucking amazing. It looks beautiful. It's roughly on 100mm base. Fucking gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So the first hour was going through all this shit and talking to the sculptors, and the head of production was the guy that gave us the demo at Hardwall, by the way, Paul. Didn't realise that. On the Modiphius stand. So that was all that. Then Then they spoke about for another hour Fallout factions and the fact that it's getting errated, getting balanced. They're removing some of the spicy shit. Oh, new Hollywood Icons box as well.
Yeah.
So this is all shit from the Fallout series. There's a new Lucy miniature, Paladin Dance, Thaddeus.
Is this season 2?
No, this is all season 1 shit.
So this is from season 1. Okay, right.
Yeah,
cool.
You've got the world's worst father, Lucy's dad. You've got the raider lady that was at the observatory.
Yeah, I'm not that familiar, but I really ought to rewatch it, to be fair, because I actually enjoyed it.
Well, season 2's coming later this year,
yeah.
So enjoy. So they spoke about that, spoke about some Fallout faction updates, and then they dropped a fucking bombshell. Literally, how radioactively hot do you want your news, boys and girls? Fallout Wasteland Warfare is getting a 2nd edition. It is coming in 2026, and my God, everything that they have said about it in that Twitch live stream makes me even more hyped to play Fallout than I already was. They've spoke about streamlining it. They're removing all the cards from the game. They're removing the bullshit range rulers. It's all going to be measured in inches. They want to make it mainly a solo focused narrative campaign game with co-op elements. They're still going to leave in an adversarial mode, but it's not the main pitch of the game now.
And it's another game that's now getting a new edition, and we've not played the 1st edition.
Yes, it is.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah,
Tim just said it.
Yeah, Tim's said the same. So 2nd edition is coming mid next year because Hollywood Icons and everything are running out until about September, October, November in the run up to Christmas. Then there's going to be a lull, and then 2nd edition is coming. They've already announced all of the factions that remain in 2nd edition. So, unfortunately, if you own a Gunners box set for Fallout Wasteland Warfare in 1st edition, you can kiss goodbye to playing Gunners in 2nd edition because they're not supporting them anymore. You can, however, go play Gunners in Fallout factions. And again, they've confirmed basically, if you want to play narrative, fluffy games, campaign games, have an overarching story, go play Fallout Wasteland Warfare, solo or co-op. If you want to beat the living shit out of your opponent, go play factions.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to playing these games. I think Wasteland Warfare
tonight.
I think Wasteland Warfare is probably going to lean towards me more. But the thing is, it's like you said, if you've got your models, and if you can get hold of the faction rules for cheap, why not just fucking go all in? Your terrain's the same. Do you know what I mean?
Play space is slightly different. But...
I do like the fact that they are updating Wasteland Warfare, because much as I
And
enjoy,
again, it's been 7 years.
yeah, they've
It's
hardly
been
rushed
7
into
years
it.
since they released it to then go to second edition, like you say. It's
Also,
not been rushed. It's not been knee-jerked.
also, to be fair, as we were talking about before stream, everything for first edition is pretty much available as a digital asset for free from Modiphius.
Yeah, you can't.
So do you know
and
what?
everything are.
If you're worried about not enjoying second edition, go to Modiphius's website, download all of the cards, all of the fucking free rules, all of that shit, and just build your consolidation collection so that you can, you know, like a lot of players did, stick with X-Wing, stick with first edition, and then let second edition be its own thing.
It's again, I'm really looking forward to this. Part of me doesn't now want to build the shit that I've bought or paint the shit that I've bought, knowing that a more streamlined edition is coming.
Yeah.
But then there's the flip side of me that goes, oh, fuck, I could really be the banner waver for this when second edition drops. Because there's you that's in, again, I've got multiple factions, I've got creatures and that kind of thing. You've got your factions as well if people want to play different games and play styles. If I'm a fucking banner waver for this game, there are easily 4 or 5 other people at club that would jump on the bandwagon with us.
Yeah, I think the computer game franchise will drag a lot of players in, and like you say, this one could do well at the club. I certainly don't have any. And the other thing is, don't forget, guys, a lot of the models are all at 50% off at the moment at Modiphius. So get over there, pick yourself up a couple of boxes for like 20, or, you know, get yourself a box of miniatures for 20 quid. And, you know, you just fucking can't go wrong.
Even if you're paying full price for your warband, pick up some of the creature boxes for half price.
Yeah. Because, I mean, again, the creature packs are fucking amazing for use with all sorts of games. You could use them, I'm sure, in things like 5 parsecs and that sort of thing quite easily. As wandering monsters. To be fair, things like the Gulpers, they would work in fantasy. They would be great for
the only thing that won't necessarily work is the fact that they're all on, or most of them are on sculpted bases.
They're not fixed to those, though, are they? You can just.
Yes, they are. They're pinned in.
Are they pinned in so they come
in,
pre-based? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes.
That might be a problem then. Yeah, that might be an issue if you wanted to recontextualize them. Never mind. So yeah, I think that's it. That's pretty much all of the news, isn't it, mate?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back.
Basically, the news this week, because I've done no effort or legwork for about a month now, the news was solely me.
David's just played catch up.
You get all of your fucking news information from me in one 30-minute digestible sitting.
Yeah, all in one hit. Now, before we move on to the main topic o'clock, I just want to give a massive shout out because Damon, who was in the chat earlier, and I'm hoping is still there now, has been sharing some fantastic images on the Discord server for the On Tabletop group. If you're not in that community, then I suggest you go along and join. If you go to ontabletop.com, that's the main website. Create yourself an account. Subscribe to the Otters, the backstage subscription, because you'll get extra video content, but also join the Discord server. And when I asked him earlier, he said he's got computer problems, so he doesn't want to do a project because the project system can be a bit of a graft. Particularly, it's okay when you're putting text on, but putting images in can be a bit of a nightmare.
It does tend to crash it a little bit, doesn't it?
But basically, Damon's been scratch building, so we're using old school techniques of wooden dowel, plasticard, and he's been scratch building a load of terrain that I am jealous as fuck of that would be perfect for my Japanese Islands campaign, my Pacific Islands campaign for bolt action. So here you've just got some reinforced defense lines, quite simple little things. A hull down piece for putting a tank in and basically defend, sort of like giving it a hull down position. These are what are called spider holes markers in the game. Basically, similar idea to the tunnels the Viet Cong used successfully in the Vietnam War. The Japanese, because they had time to defend the islands, built a load of tunnels under the ground so they could come up among the enemy, and you have markers in the game to represent them. Just little things there. And then, okay, he did the small stuff, but then he just went fucking booyah. You've got a massive fortified bunker complex here with a pillbox mounted on top. You've got sort of like slit entrances at the front. He's got it all banked up. Again, this is all scratch built out of wooden dowel, chopped down, and then in the framework he's put like, I think it's basically filler and then covered with sand. It just, there it is with the lid off, because obviously the interior is entirely playable. Just fucking crazy. So he did this piece. Oh no. Just hang on a second. I'm gonna have to go and get more, because unfortunately OBS has a fucking memory limit on its slideshows. So I'm just going to need to get... So that was the first... Basically, that was the first wave of pictures that he put up. Let me just delete a few of these. And then he put up a load more, which I should have pictures of here. But I just wanted to
when
give
are you going on a heist to Damon's house?
Do you know what? The fucking... Let me see. Try this. Okay, so here's more of it. Honestly, I mean, I did say to him, he said, oh, it's easy. I'm like, fucking easy? Are you serious? This is like a firing position on top of that. Then he built these, because, you know, just knock out 4 little fucking... you know, fortified positions, you know, just do that on a Sunday afternoon. Then he did this, and it's like, okay, you're trolling us now. Stop taking the piss. Night, Tim. Yeah, as I say, I just hope he gets... Damon, put a project up so that the guys... you will get a golden button for this project, because this stuff is fucking amazing. B, Tim and Jerry can talk about it on Tim's stream on a Tuesday night. So just do the fucking project, mate. This is just fucking amazing. I may ask him how much it had cost me for him to commission me a set, because... And the thing is, these aren't finished yet. I'm assuming he's going to be putting flocks and grasses and paint, and these things can only get better. But I just had to do that as like a... There he is, Damon. He needs a new laptop first. Fucking hell. Damon, just do it as a fucking Word document or something and send me a link. I'll put the bastard thing up for you. This is crazy. But, mate, that...
Ewok, you tried too hard last year, just saying.
That, Damon, honestly, mate, that terrain is so inspiring and so bloody good, man. It's amazing. It's such a good project. Out of interest, right, so you've got 2 quite large pieces, your 4 fortified positions, and then all the extra little bits. give me an estimate of the man hours you've put into that, just out of interest, because I
Room
suspect it's a lot. But if you come up with an absurdly low number, I'll be even more upset. Oh yeah, just add tree stumps, palm fronds,
Yeah,
and
it's just adding camo nets. Yeah, just camo nets. It's fine.
Oh,
Fucking hell, we're sat here scratching through the dirt of what we can fucking do.
I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to
be-
painting the gold on my board game, Mark.
being productive. Meanwhile, fucking Damon's building a small fucking city in the corner in the same amount of fucking time. It's ridiculous.
His back
Hats
garden.
off to you, lad. Though fucking hell, it looks good.
His back garden. He's created
off.
a fucking representation of Saipan Island in his back garden. It looks like a scene out of Close Encounters from the Third Kind, where the bloke's built that fucking thing in his house.
Right.
Oh dear, that's fucking
Now,
brilliant. And he still has.
We're 24 minute night cheese me.
Night cheese
24 minutes late to main topic. Let's get the fuck on.
Yeah, okay then. So come on then, let's have at you. Custom dice. What do we mean by custom dice? Well, as the thumbnail should have given away, what we mean by custom dice is dice that have pretty pictures plastered all over them instead of numbers in the 3 weeks, 4 to 5 hours a day. So for 21 times 4 is about 80 hours. Fuck me.
Call it 95 for argument's sake.
Fucking man. Impressive as fuck. Absolutely impressive as fuck. Yes, so dice with pretty pictures and no numbers. This is not
three camps, is it? There's 3 camps, isn't there?
Well, first things to say is this is not a new idea, is it? Because the oldest game that I could think of in the sort of wargaming sphere, and it isn't a war game, it's a board game, let's be fair, is Blood Bowl. So Blood Bowl had a D6 and they were called the block dice, and all of your player interactions were resolved by using those dice. And it was a bit of a rock, paper, scissors thing, wasn't it? Where you can either a blitz is a success, a blitz with an exclamation mark is a success unless your opponent's got block, and it was sort of
there's certain skills that counteract the dice interaction.
D20 should get in the bins, shackles, mate. Yeah, I think D20s. I've only, again, a bit off topic, but we've covered this before. The only D20 game system I've played where I think D20s work is Infinity.
Yeah, but again, it works because plus 3s, minus 3s, grouping and going up or 12 or down 12. But we've covered this before. Let's not go over old ground.
Yeah, so essentially the Blood Bowl system, so you've got these dice that resolve the effect of a block, and then they had a simple sort of advantage disadvantage system where if the strengths of the models were wildly different, you rolled multiple dice and chose either the worst or the best result depending on whether it was in your favour. So
no, Trevor, Frostgrave doesn't work. It's swingy as fuck. The fact that anything can kill anything shows you how swingy it is.
That is a very good point, mate. It doesn't work, but the game, the point
the game
is,
makes up for it in other ways.
Yes, the point is it doesn't need to work because the game is fun regardless of the dice mechanic being a chaotic shit show. What are average dice where the number ranges is modified, Toros? I'm not really super familiar with the concept. Explain further and I'll tell you whether I think they are or not. But basically what we're talking about here is symbol dice that are used to resolve the outcome of actions. Now,
Because again,
you were saying
Gaslands is another prime example where it works, and the reason it works is because you have D6s with custom results on the face of it for.
no, I didn't say it was rock paper scissors, Trevor. I said it was a rock paper scissors like system where you had X beat Y. So like this symbol beats the opponent unless the opponent has dodge. When it doesn't,
or again, if you've got block and you roll both down, you're not going down, but your opponent
yes,
is.
because if you, so it is, yeah. So obviously you misunderstood what I said. Anyway, mate, you were saying
Gaslands D6 system with movement resolution on it.
custom toilet.
Slides, spins, hazards, gear shifts, and what's the other? That's it, isn't it? Because it's a slide, spin, hazard is that, and then the other three faces are what's it called? The shift dice. And the reason Gaslands works is because it's a push your luck mechanic, and you can technically play the game without even rolling a single shift dice ever.
That's true, because it's an optional thing that you can do.
If you're super strategic on which templates you're picking and everything else for up shifts, down shifts, and playing the game a certain way. But you roll dice equal to your handling value, but you don't have to roll them all. You can roll.
Got your Taros, yeah.
You can roll one of them. You can roll up to 4, 5, depending on the handling value of your car. So it's your choice what you do. But where it works beautifully is the interaction with the movement templates, how it works, how it clips together, everything else. It makes the game what it is, but it's not egregious and it's not in your face as mechanics go. You've got options to do it. And again, the entire game doesn't resolve around these dice because you're still using normal D6s to resolve your combat.
Correct. Yes, it's not the whole game mechanic.
Else.
Yeah. You were saying about that you've got categories of custom dice. What categories were you sort of thinking of?
So you've got games where it works really well. We've just mentioned two here with Blood Bowl and Gaslands being prime examples.
Yeah.
You've then got games where it kind of works, and I'm thinking mainly of Fallout, Wasteland Warfare, and what was the other one we fucking said about last night?
Let me open my list and then
Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Yeah, MCP. Yep.
And I'll explain my reasoning in a minute.
Sorry, guys. Wait, David. Wait, David. I think we need to wait for your. Try again.
It's fucking egregious.
Yeah,
and
that's
it doesn't work in like Warcry.
I forgot I couldn't go off the screen with David on it. Carry on, mate. I was just going to bring up the list.
Games where it kind of works. I've mentioned Wasteland Warfare, and it's a game that we're looking to get into, and we enjoy the gameplay in it and the loop and everything else. The reason I say it kind of works is the following. You have a D20 that's got custom faces, custom probability curve for your resolution. Then you have different colored dice with different symbols on that then resolve and give you different actions or bonuses like armor cracks, straight up damage, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Marvel Crisis Protocol is very similar with its swirls and its squiggles and its exclamation marks.
Yeah, you've got hits, crits, shields, the swirly symbol, whatever the fuck that is, skulls, blanks.
And certain dice, when you roll them, then click into your pool to give you special abilities to make it feel more superhero-y.
Yeah.
That's fine, and I'm gonna give Modiphius a pass on the custom dice mechanic from Wasteland Warfare, because at least all the symbols are clearly different enough from the other side of the table that you can identify them.
Yeah.
Marvel Crisis Protocol doesn't get as much of a pass because all of the symbols are very fucking similar to one another, and it's very hard to interpret quickly what's happening.
Yeah.
The other drawback you have to custom dice in a game is because they've got different faces on. Yes, it's a D8 that you're rolling for Marvel's Crisis Protocol, or a D12 for Fallout Wasteland Warfare. But when you're rolling them, if you flip between games a lot, like myself, it's a lot harder to understand the modifiers, and particularly in Wasteland Warfare's case, where the blue, the yellow, and the black and the green all have different symbols on for different things compared to each other. It's not even the same as Marvel Crisis Protocol, where certain faces are X, certain faces are Y, certain faces are Z, and you can work out your probability curve if you look at it.
Yeah.
You've got that to do 4 times for Wasteland Warfare.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. The level of complexity of the custom dice system in Wasteland Warfare, it's a good job that it's a beer and pretzels game you play for cinematic fun, because
Yes.
to actually play that game in any kind of a competitive mindset would just be a migraine waiting to happen, wouldn't it? So you've got successful systems, partially successful systems, and what's your third category?
Shit show systems.
Such as
Warcrow.
Yeah,
and the reason Warcrow is so fucking bad, you heard us rant about it last year here on stream, folks. You've got different coloured dice with symbols on that proc off your card. So, okay, currently on the face of this is sounding very Marvel Crisis Protocol-esque and Fallout Wasteland Warfare-esque. Wonderful.
Yeah.
We're all over that like a rash. It's a system that kind of works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until Corvus Belli in their infinite wisdom went, yeah, you know that symbol that's about fucking 3 mil square on that dice that your opponent's throwing the other side of the table? Yeah, we're going to colour that in, and that's going to do certain things on their stat card. So either A, it's going to make it really easily to fucking read them or cheat. Not accusing people of cheating, but misreading is more than likely to happen, because the difference in their symbols was it's the same fucking symbol. One is coloured in with white inlay, one is outlined with white inlay, and they're both on a yellow fucking dice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, fucking what?
Yeah, I War Cradle customer service dice or what? Just to pick up a couple of things. Toros. I don't consider average dice, i.e. dice with a numerical range that's simply been modified, as being relevant to the conversation we're having. Obviously they are custom dice because they don't fit a standard dice model, but I don't really have an issue with them. And in fact, when David and I were discussing this, one of the games we talked about was God Tier. So God Tier basically takes the D6 and runs like the average dice effect on it. So it turns it into a D3. So it makes it more consistent. And what you're doing with those sort of dice, you're tightening the random range of your game to make the statistics work better. Which I think's totally valid and is a really good game design.
Ewoks hit the nail on the head here. Board games, custom dice are less jarring. We've just mentioned God Tier. We'll mention Underworlds while we're at it.
Batman, Gotham City Chronicles.
God Tier and Underworlds run on D6 custom dice. Now,
Blood Bowl.
One works significantly better than the other. And the main reason is the actual rules interaction with those dice. So as Paul has just mentioned, God Tier, it's a D6 with some blank faces on, some high hit faces and some middling hit faces. You roll a pool of them, anywhere from 3 or 2 to fucking 5 or 6 dice.
Yeah, 5's
depending
pretty
upon
big,
your
isn't it?
stats or anything else. You roll a pool of them, then you look at and total up all of the fucking successful marks on them. That's your hit value. You then roll through the semantics of going through it.
Yeah, so you do the hits and then you do the wounds effectively, don't you?
Yes. Underworlds doesn't work the same way. So Underworlds has intrinsic, I'm attacking you dice and I'm defending dice for starters, and then the magic dice are separate as well, which again is slightly convoluted that you've got 3 different dice to fucking resolve different stats and combats and everything else.
Yeah.
But the most egregious thing that Underworlds do is tie a crit mechanic on a D6, see earlier fucking streams where we rant about this, to abilities on cards, kicking off, doing extra damage, just auto-defeating your opponent's armor, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you're basically at this point crit fishing on D6, the best thing you can do in Underworlds is boost the number of dice you are throwing, because you've got more chances to hit that crit.
Yeah.
That's not the dice's fault.
Yeah.
It's the game design's fault.
Yeah, no, that is definitely that I'm going to die on this hill. The Underworlds, you should not be putting critical dice effects in D6 based games where the advantage of the critical is so powerful.
I tell you what game does crit effects really well that has custom dice. Marvel Crisis Protocol, because you fucking chuck a shit ton of them, and then you're symbol matching, and when you get all your symbols in a row that you need for your special ability, it goes off.
Yeah.
That's what the critical mechanic should have been in Underworlds.
Yeah. It should have been way less easy to trigger. It either needs to be occur way less frequently, or less impactful when it goes off. And you
carry on, mate.
No, I was going to say that's my point.
Point being though, at least Underworlds did the dice design correctly and made sure that every symbol was legible and not like anything else.
The problem with this custom dice thing, there are a ton of traps that you can fall into, and David's covered most of them. The first one is dice with weird symbols on are not as intuitive, I don't think, as numbered dice.
No.
And somebody mentioned X-Wing, right? X-Wing, I think, was there are only 3 symbols, I believe, on the dice, aren't there? Hit, miss, and for the eyeball for the force effect, or whatever it's called, focus effect. I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there's any more symbols on the Star Wars dice. The X-Wing dice, I'm sorry. And there's a sort of sweet spot there where you've got just enough symbols to add. Again, Blood Bowl has got, you've got 4 or 5 different symbols on a D6, haven't you? I think with Blood Bowl.
Yes, because you've got 2 pushes, don't you?
That's it, because you've got a double push. And, it's like you've got to be careful with your iconography. And again, Wasteland Warfare is probably the worst.
I was about to say, come down to my desk cam.
Yeah, let me see if I can do that here.
Because I've just grabbed my Wasteland Warfare dice.
Yeah, content display. Wasteland Warfare, I actually included them on the thumbnail because I think they're a good example of they're just that step too far where you've got a lot of symbology and different colours. It's just a bit much.
So you got a D20 with custom numbers for hitting on plus symbols.
It's basically a modified D10, isn't it? You've got a lot of numbers doubled up, and then there's some symbols sewn amongst it.
Like a D10. the egregious thing in Wasteland Warfare is this: the greens, the blacks, the yellows. They all have different probabilities. Like you've got blank, Nuka-Cola, armor crack -1 on the yellows. The greens, you get extra damage, -2, -3, -1. The blacks get a lot of armor cracks, a lot of extra penetration. And then the blue dice are the special dice. You use these a lot for running the AI. Really good for running the AI with, because there's all the different symbology that makes the AI card really easy to configure into its different modes. Wonderful. But I've got 2 Nuka-Cola bottles. I've got 2 faces with a single Nuka-Cola bottle. I've got a star. I've got 2 stars. I've got a star and a Nuka-Cola bottle. This is where it starts to break down and not work properly.
And actually, you've really that. This is why Warcrow stepped over the line for me. So, like, David's got that blue dice there where you have multiple different symbols on the same face of the dice. This was another thing that I found offensive about Warcrow. So it's like David said, not only
with Warcrow, you had this, didn't you? You had like 2 hits on here. One was fully coloured in, one was just fucking outlined.
Yeah, but you also had, I'm sure I remember, there was like a dice with like 1 symbol, and then it had a tiny little exclamation mark on it as well, which meant something else. And
it's the shit like that. At least with Wasteland Warfare, this is identifiable, this is legible, that you've got a Nuka-Cola and a star.
Yeah.
The tiny exclamation mark symbol was fucking tiny in
Is Quarriors a miniature war game or a board game? Just asking. Because I'm
asking for a friend.
Ewok. Because I'm really interested to research custom dice, because when David and I were talking about it, David and I have slightly different attitudes. I think it's fair to say when David sees custom dice, immediately he's like,
actually, before you do your thing, let's just show an AI card here.
Oh, okay.
So you roll that blue dice, and then it does different things depending on what you roll. So if you only roll 1 star, it's a move. If you roll 2 stars, it's a move.
Oh, I see. Right, yeah.
Etc. That's why this works really well. And again, you're only rolling 1 dice to work out the AI behavior in this solo game. Do you know what I mean?
Got you.
It works for what it works with. Most of the dice that you're throwing for like your armor rolls and stuff, you roll the white special dice, and then if you're within certain ranges, you add
got you.
the dice in for modifying like the armor crack on things, etc.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's why Wasteland Warfare gets a pass in our book. It's on the verge of falling apart, but it hasn't quite fallen apart.
I think the other thing that I gave it a pass, because again, people might say, well, you're a bit of a hypocrite. You played Warcrow demo and you were like, I'm not doing this. I played Wasteland Warfare and I thought, no, I will give this game its chance. And I'll be honest, the thing that gets Fallout over the line for me is the narrative, storytelling, cool immersion in the sort of like narrative. The game's got its own pace. It didn't seem... It's not stressful to pick over your dice pool. When you're doing a solo or semi-co-op experience, it's not tedious to pick over your dice pool and resolve everything properly. Warcrow is a confrontational, adversarial, fantasy-based war game.
Battle game. Yeah.
And for me, at that point, the dice are too much. And the thing is as well, they don't add as much... Because I, hand on heart, can't say that I took anything away from the Warcrow demo that I haven't seen done in other games. Admittedly, the implementation will not be the same, but they've got the same concepts across. Stunning, pushing models back. Do you know what I mean?
I tell you the other thing that really got me about Warcrow was the elements on the cards weren't overly legible either. The dice weren't legible. And then you are comparing it to Infinity that get, okay, it's a D20, it's not custom dice.
No, that is true.
But the Infinity mechanic, how it works, how everything resolves, the +3s, the -3s, it works, it sings, it gels, everything's built into the app and the stat card for that particular model.
Yeah.
I know why they didn't just go, well, let's pick this up and play it in fucking fantasy.
Yes.
Because they wanted to do something different.
It would have been a cop-out. I totally get that. Yeah.
They pushed too far, I feel.
I agree. I agree. You can totally see why they said, well, why don't we just do Fantasy Infinity? And somebody said, yeah, but that's lazy. And do you know what? All credit for Corvus Belli for not doing that. Because I'll tell you what, there are some lazy-ass game design firms that would have just reskinned the same core mechanic. And, you know, credit to them for really saying, no, we're going to try something new. But there is also that element, they did shoot themselves in the foot by actually doing something like Infinity.
Yeah,
because
they had something so good.
Warcrow, by comparison, is clunky and inelegant and just overworked. It's just over-designed, would be the best way I put it.
I tell you, the one game we haven't spoken about yet.
Yep.
That kind of works, and then we can come on to the custom dice thing that you were saying about. Armored Clash. So Armored Clash has hits on faces, blanks on faces. It then has half hits and full hits.
It's a bit like Ewoks. No, not Ewoks. Tauros's example, isn't it? It's a bit.
Yeah.
It's a bit like actually a modified probability curve, not a symbol set, and that's probably why. Because when we sat down and demoed it, I didn't get those custom dice vibes. Do you know what I mean?
No, I didn't overly get the all custom dice vibes. The biggest thing that I took away from was the ranges and flipping your half hits into hits and that kind of thing, and your crits and the exploding crits kind of thing, and adding more dice to the pool.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing with Armored Clash is you are not throwing dice 1 or 2 at a time.
No.
You are hooking 10, 15, 18, 20 across the table.
Yeah.
And it all kind of, because it's D6s, averages out and washes out in the wash.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And you could tell when we spoke to James Hewitt about it, and James said when he was doing the design, he wanted everything to be additive. You start with some dice, then you just add more. And he never wanted to be in a situation where you were taking dice away. And although he didn't say that out loud or express it in that way, that's definitely the way to design around D6s, because they are, you know, too tight. They give you too narrow a range of randomness to rely on them to not just be swingy and irritating.
Yeah. But when I see custom dice, I immediately get alarm bells.
Yeah, you're really prickly about custom dice, ain't you?
I'm prickly with dice in fucking general, right? Because as proven, well, my luck in general when it comes to wargaming is fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
Go back about a month and look at when we fucking drew -5s on the bounce playing fucking
Oh, what was that?
Arkham Horror living card game, and basically ended the campaign at turn 2.
That was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we said, we didn't know there was a token. We didn't know there was a token that shit in the bag. And Davey goes, yeah, look, I've just drawn it again.
But I immediately approach custom dice with trepidation, and the main reason being because I split and jump between games, I don't necessarily have the time and or brain capacity to learn the probability curves for the results to then optimize my play.
Yeah, got
I don't mind it in Gaslands because again, Gaslands is completely optional. Don't mind it in Underworlds or Blood Bowl because again, in Underworlds I know what I'm doing. Add dice and go crit fishing. If I'm playing Blood Bowl, what am I doing? Trying to get my fucking strength 2 gutter runner, Skaven guy away from any fucker that can do a strength 3 block on him because he's gonna end up on his ass.
Yeah.
That is how I play Blood Bowl. That is how that shit works.
Yeah.
Marvel Crisis Protocol, I played a demo of it. I felt okay about it. And things felt superhero-y, but they didn't necessarily feel as superhero-y as they could have done because there were several counters, abilities, and other things on my cards that I didn't use at all because I couldn't roll the fucking symbols for them. Meanwhile, Paul on the other side of the table, who has the same amount of bullshit on his card, can fucking roll superhero power, superhero power, superhero power, super. And he's like, okay, yeah, this is a bit shit.
Well, the other thing as well is what you've just identified, that when you first demo or first start a play a game, you are basically just sort of chucking the dice and hoping, because particularly if the game's got the level of complexity of something like Marvel Crisis Protocol, you don't know all of the abilities on your characters, you haven't spotted the synergies, you haven't spotted the combos, so effectively you just, I'm going to go and punch him and let's see what happens. Exactly.
Yeah.
The risk is that you're still doing that by game 6 and the dice are actually getting in the way of you working out what I need to do is this, then this. And that is that's potentially the risk with custom dice. That there is already so much there is already so much cognitive burden in miniature war games. Miniature war games are fucking hard in general. Just talking about board games versus a miniature war game with free movement and like customizable lists. You know what I mean? You've got the potential to bring any assets you want out of a whole range of options, deploy them in any way you want, activate them in any order you want. Just the complexity of that alone is huge. The dice shouldn't then be a further hill to climb. I'm not quite so bad as David. But I will say that I still, if I play a game and it's got custom dice, those fucking dice had better really add something to the gameplay, and they better feel like they've been designed into what I'm doing, not just a fucking afterthought or an obstacle to what I'm supposed to be doing. Because if they do, I am not going to be kind to that game.
The other thing I feel, and maybe this is my dubious nature, we've already kind of hit the nail on the head. In board games, it doesn't feel too bad because again, it's all in one box and everything else. But when you have to then go out after you've spent your 80 quid on a warband and you've bought a rule book for 20 quid, for example, so you're already 100 quid deep in the hole. And then they say, oh, yeah, you know these dice that are so intrinsic to the game, you actually need them?
Yeah.
They're 20 quid for like 5. It's like, yeah, you can fuck off at this point. I do agree with you. This is a bit of a cash grab.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
Is one thing I will give Modifius credit for on Wasteland Warfare. You can play Wasteland Warfare with D20s and D12s and a lookup table, and it's free on Tinterweb.
Yeah. Where you've just got like symbol substitution, I think the same can be said of like the Saga dice. So the Saga dice have symbols that match the each warband's
Abilities,
ability
don't they?
card. But and I think I'm correct in saying basically they're remapped D6s. So each
Yes.
number corresponds to as a unique symbol. So like you say, you could, if you were a cheap ass, just do yourself a lookup table or just write the numbers in pencil next to the symbols so that when you roll those numbers, you know that it's actually that symbol. Obviously, some dice, like the X-Wing dice, where you take what are 8 different symbols and condense it down to 3 or 4, then you can't do a simple mapping always. It can get very complicated.
And particularly on D8s, D12s,
Yeah.
D20s, opposite faces adding up, it's not the best.
I agree,
Again,
Shakos. I mean, again, I didn't want that to sound like shade at Gripping Beast. I don't think the Saga dice are a cash grab. Like Shakos has said, you buy them once for your army. It's another great example. Bolt action dice for your coloured dice for your army.
You buy your
order
dice for your army, and then you're done.
Because again, to be fair, this is the other section. This is the other bit of custom dice that we probably need to talk about just in passing. When the custom dice form a tiny little subset or sub mechanic that is not, like, they're not used in every interaction. So Marvel Crisis Protocol, you have to use the custom dice every time you attack something, every time you defend against an attack.
Yeah.
But let's take the command dice from like the Mantic games, Firefight, Kings of War now. Those symbol dice, they form a command and control sub game or mini game, but they don't form the core of the interaction of the units on the table, do they?
You roll in D8s for all of the unit interactions for your attack stats
Yeah.
and everything else. But at the top of the round, you have, what is it, black, orange, green?
Yes.
For the command dice?
Yeah.
And each commander brings a certain level and number of command dice in a certain format. And each of those colours of dice have different probabilities of the symbols that are on them when you roll them.
Yep.
So obviously, if you bring a higher level commander, he isn't necessarily bringing more dice for you to roll in your command pool, but he's bringing the higher quality dice to roll in your command pool. And similarly, you could command a spam with cheap shit, nasty stuff, and just strike it really lucky on a turn and get everything to go off for what you need.
Shakos says that Halo Flashpoint has slightly confusing symbol dice and they have a lot of different symbols on them. I've not played that game, Shakos, but that's a good point. I'll look into a demo and see what the dice look like. Maybe look at a video on YouTube. But I think if you're designing that sort of, like, another great example that we talked about the other night was the classic artillery dice from Warhammer by Games Workshop.
Yeah, because
you literally
I compared that, didn't I, to Armada. So indirect fire is done in a very similar way of roll the value to hit, but in Armada it's roll it near to the model you've got, and it's a D10 with the top to point in the direction of scatter. Because Fantasy is a D6 game, you unfortunately have to use the artillery dice with its scattering directions and everything on, because D6s don't have an upward pointing face.
Yeah, and they've got a very unique layout, but they're used for a very specific thing in the game that might only occur 3 or 4 times in a game. Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're using custom dice in that way, you can pretty much get away with blue murder, don't you think?
Yes.
You can make them as complicated as like, convoluted as you like. It really doesn't matter, because it's a separate little thing that you only interact with occasionally, and it's not something that's constantly you're bumping into as you're playing the game, trying to think, now hang on, What have I actually rolled here? What does that mean? What does that do? How many? So can I use this symbol now? Is that a success or is that a fail? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
are you symbol matching to try and find
yeah,
the ultimate ability?
yeah. As I say, the other thing that I think we should say as a parting shot is that when we thought because the perception that David and I came to this topic was that we were seeing a lot more of these dice.
It's increasing year on year. I mean, again, we haven't even mentioned AC, League of Infamy, stuff like that. Yes, they're all board games.
But do you know what? I had an epiphany after we spoke the other night. Although we are seeing more of these dice, do you think it's because game designers are using them more often, or do you think that it's the lines between miniature wargame and board game are blurring? Because think about the examples you've just given. AC, what else did you mention? League of Infamy. Is League of Infamy a board game? Do you see my point?
Yeah.
I mean, there are definitely companies like Fantasy Flight Games, Atomic Mass Games, whatever fucking banner they're flying under now. Same thing.
Can I just attack James Hewitt here a minute?
Go on then. James can take it.
Why wasn't James involved at Modiphius with designing Wasteland Warfare?
I think he might have been, yeah.
And that's got custom dice, and then he's jumped ship and gone to Warcradle, and he's now designing another game with custom dice. I mean, hats off to him. They're both sort of systems that work, but why are we flexing with custom dice?
Yeah, James, you need to just calm down, mate. Next time you reach in for the dice, the ones on the shelf might be good enough, mate. Put the sticker set away. We don't want, little fucking pink unicorns.
James owns shares in a custom dice company.
No,
but it's true.
That's
true,
a different
though. It's
James.
just the one thing I just noticed was like, hang on a minute. It's
yeah. Do you know what? I don't know. Ewok, what do you mean? You sound like Kemi Badenoch fumbling away through PMQs.
Well, I think it's because we've gone backwards and forwards and yo-yo and not really come to a fucking solution. I'm going to pin my colours to the flag here. I don't really like games with custom dice.
Yeah.
I've said my piece as to my reasoning why probabilities are harder to get and flitting between stuff and everything else. I don't mind them in exceptions. Again, we've mentioned Wasteland Warfare, Beers and Pretzely, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for fuck's sake, stop doing it in things that are meant to be competitive and adversarial and not just a chill fucking evening hucking dice with your mates.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, exactly, Ewok. That's the thing. I'm just throwing the dice, looking at the result and going, what does that mean?
Yeah. And again, the thing is as well, again, this comes down to one of the most satisfying parts of playing a war game is the feeling that you've got the ability to assess the probability of success of your decisions before you took that decision, right? So it's like, if ultimately I've got no fucking idea whether this is going to work, but let's do it anyway. While that can be fun in the right game with the right feeling, I don't think that that's really what we're looking for as a universal sort of truth in miniature wargaming. Do you know what I mean? It's sort of like...
And again, stop charging people extra. Why don't you, as a company, price your rulebook a tiny bit dearer and include a set of dice with the rulebook?
Yeah.
Because again, we haven't even attacked Steamforged for God tier. We did this previously a week or two ago when we're talking about locking shit away.
Yeah.
Locking those dice away in a fucking starter set with a board egregious.
Yep. The other thing that I will say, 2-player starter sets, right? If you're doing a two-player starter set, put
Not a
enough
one-player starter
fucking
set,
dice.
a two-player starter.
Yeah, put enough fucking dice in the box so that it doesn't turn. Every turn isn't the dice trade. Can you pass me 2 or 3 of those dice? Can you pass me a couple of those dice? Can you pass me a couple? They're not that fucking expensive. Okay? However many you've got, plus put that in again.
Double it and add 3.
You know, and if they are that fucking expensive, what are you doing? What are these dice that you were fucking
Are they made of gold?
I mean,
Can we melt
fuck
them
off.
down and get better money in gold?
Like I say, I mean, I'm not quite as vehemently anti them as David, but I tell you, I am suspicious of them, and I want to see them justified in any game I'm using them in. And if they're just some sort of like tokenistic afterthought or basically a fucking botched mechanic from beginning to end, I probably will not be playing your game. And I would advocate that other people take the same attitude. Because I tell you what, again, let's come back to one we talked about earlier, Hard War. Not a new game.
Yes.
Not an ancient game. It hasn't been around for 30 years like Warhammer Fantasy Battles or whatever. It's D12 based, relatively simple, just straight numbered D12s. But do you know what? Rolling those dice for the attack and defense rolls, it was satisfying. It was intuitive.
The genius part in Hard War, where you take core D12s, you're rolling to attack, and I'm X inches away plus my armor value. You're looking for like 17, 18 on a D12.
Yeah.
I'm rolling dice equal to my armor stat, and I'm looking for as many different numbers as I can roll.
Yeah.
As the defending player, that's all I fucking care about. It's how many different dice can I roll? Because what happens before Paul goes to damage allocation is every dice of Paul's that matches one of mine gets cancelled and dropped from the pool immediately.
Yeah.
Paul then totals up what he's got left, and if he can make 17, say that's the target number he needs, he just pairs a 12 and a 5, an 11 and a 6 together, etc. He's got 2 17s. But if I just roll a single 6 or a single 11 in that, I'm cancelling one of his hits. It's fucking genius game design.
Yeah. It worked really well. And it didn't need any clever dice to do it. We've overrun a little bit, but I think it was a good topic. I enjoyed it. We hope you did as well. Get in the comments down below. What do you think of custom dice? Have we been unfair? Are they actually... I mean, again, explore...
Tell us
are they actually becoming more common? Or are we just super sensitive to it and we're not being fair? Or is it my theory that actually they are becoming more common, but that's only because the difference between a war game and a board game is getting closer? And although they've been in board games for years, we're now seeing a bit of a blend over. And I think it's not going to sit as well with wargamers as it perhaps has with the board gaming community. Just my thought. Anyway, thank you very much for your time. We hope you enjoyed the show. We need to thank our all-star audience, the co-stars over here in the chat. Thank you very much to you, all of you, for your contributions. And you know, we're eternally grateful. You're as much of what makes the show as the, you know, David and myself. If you can only find time to do one thing, please click the like button. If you want to do the YouTube stuff below it, share, comment, subscribe, then that's bloody awesome. But all we ask is a single click on the like button. It does help to push us in the YouTube algorithm, albeit only a small amount. And until next week...
helps, to quote a famous supermarket chain.
What's that?
Every little helps, to quote a famous supermarket chain.
Ching ching! Fuck off. See you next week, guys.
It's another Thursday night. I see Crispin's wearing tights. Spam is getting in the bath. Young David's full of wrath. Paul is tightening his straps. Where on his apron you saps. Technical difficulties. They're really such a crime. Technical difficulties. They happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop 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 time. Cheese meat is on day release. Damn silk tries not to crease. And Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening up the can. Technical difficulties. They're really such a crime. Technical difficulties. They happen all the time. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop 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 time. Cheese meat is on day release. Damn chef tries not to crease. But Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening another can. It's Yellow Belly Tabletop time. 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 Cheese meat is on day release. Damn me up tries not to crease. And Ewoks keeping nice and warm. In bed with Russian uniform. Meanwhile the handyman is opening another can.